You are watching Co-op for Two, broadcasting live from Champaign, Illinois, June 22nd, 2023, Thursday night around 11 p.m. Today we're going to play Escape Tales, Children of the Wyrmwoods. This is from a series called Escape Tales. There are 3 boxes. I believe this is the most recent one, sold in 2020, so it looks like they've finished with these. Now, Greg and I played the original Escape Tales: The Awakening, and I really enjoyed it. It's one of the first big, long escape room puzzle games that I played. And one of the reasons I'm so curious to play this latest one, which has been sitting on my shelf for a few years, is to see how the game looks in retrospect, how the game's system. I have very fond memories of liking it and of the puzzles being a little difficult. If we take a look at it at the back of the box here, let's get a close-up here. Here we go. Okay. 450 minutes. Now, the original one was listed at 180 to 360 minutes. But we played this over many days. We took this to Steak and Shake and played it late at night for a few hours, but got stuck on puzzles and came back. And normally when we play a game on the stream, I say it takes us about 3 times as long to play it. So this was a 6-hour game, but if you do the normal multiplication, that would be 18 hours. And here we have this one even longer. If we compare it to low memory, this one was only, this one was 9 hours sessions, 3 3-hour sessions. So this is going to take us more than one session for sure. Has anyone played any of these games? So The Awakening they're basically the same system. A couple mechanics have changed. It's an escape room, meaning it's puzzle-centric, but there is a real emphasis on narrative here. You saw the suggested age range for this one is 16 and up. So it's got some adult themes. The Awakening had adult themes too, sort of dark story. And it's split into a number of chapters, heavy on the narrative. And one of the gimmicks is that you've got different endings. So let us take a look at the back of this box. 60 plus different endings. I mean, I don't know how much you want to put into that, but there are definite different endings. This one says an engaging and mature story. So I've been getting an itch to play a sort of supernatural, dark narrative puzzle game. So that's why we've got this out. And you can see that it's not just, it's a system. So there are a couple hallmarks of this system. One is that there's a sort of location map, and you can choose where to go to look at something. And then occasionally you'll get puzzles. But there's also a mechanic here about you have to spend these action tokens to take a turn. And when you run out, you get exhausted. And you have to do something to restore your actions. You either rest or you focus, a little bit different from The Awakening. It looks like Greg has come into the channel, feeling a little better. So Greg and I played the original, liked it quite a bit, but then when we got to the end and got our ending, we went back and looked under the curtain, looked behind the curtain, And Greg was not happy with what he saw behind the curtain. But I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want to bias you. But when we finish the review, we'll talk about that and we'll see. I didn't feel that way, but you already know that about me, that sort of I'm in it for the journey. All right, but this is certainly going to take us more than one session, possibly as many as 3-4 sessions. It does use an app. It only uses an app to check your answers for the puzzles, though. So everything you do is physical cards, except you check your answers to puzzles on the app, and you could get hints there. But I guess I have to amend that because there is a slight difference in this one. In this one, you can choose to combine items, a little bit of crafting or something. And so we're going to go through the rules quickly. I've read them, but we're going to go through them quickly. Anything else to catch up on before we get started? Anyone up to anything interesting, any interesting projects? I've been working hard for the last couple of weeks, well, months really, but especially the last couple of weeks, been working on Python code for map data manipulation for the high and low for my 1930s film noir detective game. And I've made some good progress. I think I may start doing monthly sort of game development discussion streams, just talking about the game. But I'm finally up to the point where I'm going to start populating this directory. I've got the generation of the directory working, the white pages, the yellow pages, reverse directory. And I'm going to start populating the city with fictional residents. All right, but anything else to talk about? This game has a little bit of a flavor of the Escape from the Asylum game that we were not happy about, especially me. So I'm hoping this is going to be better. I'm a little nervous that it looks like our core puzzle solver people are not in the channel. So this may be a little more difficult. All right, let's see what we've got here. So we've got a rule book. Then we've got Storybook 1, Storybook 2, that would be for Chapter 2. Storybook 3, a thin one. This is like an epilogue. So you're told that the game is in 3 chapters, the third one being an epilogue and being short. But this will give you some idea of how important story is to this game. It's not an afterthought. It's probably got the most narrative story of any puzzle game we've played. Any escape game we played. And then there's a map that you're only supposed to get out when you're told. John says, Entina is here. Yeah, but Entina says they're not going to be around for long. So that does put us at a disadvantage. All right, we're going to walk through the rule book in a little bit. Or well, let's just start going through it a little bit. All right, I'm not going to read the entire rule book, but I'll paraphrase here. We'll look through it. Let's see if we can get close enough to read through it. 1 to 4, a cooperative game. Obviously, this is not a game where you take turns. It's basically a solo game that you just discuss and play, just like any other escape room game. Okay, we've got action tokens, which are these little things. We've got normal game cards. Okay, so we've got our numbered game cards. Like that. More cards there. And then we've got these larger cards, which are going to be location cards. So 187 game cards. That's definitely more than the Awakening. 8 rest cards, focus cards. These are going to be in here. Rest cards, focus cards. There's the location cards. They're going to make up a sort of a map as we go. Player aid cards. So let's open this up. So some player aids. I don't remember those being in the other game. We've got some cards marked are 0 or 10, 11, 12. I believe these are cards for the different chapters if you want to rest, and cards for the different chapters if you want to focus. There's some interesting mechanics here that, and then some extra game cards we haven't seen. Okay, so these are part of this. So you'll see when we start that this game seems to take to heart the idea that I often talk about with these games, is that you can have consequences in terms of narrative. So all of the choices we make, they may affect what puzzle we tackle, but there are going to be choices that we can make mistakes on or choose to do A or B that will affect the story end that we get. All right, so these are our location cards. We're not going to look at these until we're told to get them out. Okay, different fronts. Okay. And then it says, if you've played previous Escape Tales games, which we have, then there's a section on the back that tells you the new rules. Unfortunately, it's been so many years since I've played this, it's not going to help. So we're going to have to read the whole rules from the start. Okay, so select the chapter you want to play. It doesn't matter how much time you take, but you have to play them in order. Prologue in Chapter 1 found in Storybook 1. So we're going to read the prologue and do Chapter 1. Place the following within easy reach. We've got our action tokens here. Game cards. Okay, I'm going to start with just the first set here. Unwrapped. We'll unwrap the others as we need it. Rest and focus cards. Okay, so here's the mechanic of rest and focus. For the prologue, we just need rest 0 card and focus 0 card. The rest of these will be used in subsequent chapters. So these go in front of us. We're not allowed to look at what they are. Location cards are just in a stack here, out of the way. That's fine. And then if you play subsequent chapters, there are cards that carry over. So for now, we have none. Then we just need the storybook for the chapter we're going to be playing. Let me get the rest of these things out of the way here. Okay, so there's our storybook 1 we're going to use. We prepare each copy of the game with great care. This is just saying, check if you're missing anything. All the cards you had at the end of the previous puzzle, never discard. Okay. Goal of the game. Escape Tales, Children of Wyrmwoods is a cooperative game. This means you'll make decisions together. Okay. You cannot lose this game. However, your decisions will influence the final outcome of the story. For better or worse, each ending is up to you. Playtime of the game can vary significantly between groups. We recommend not trying to play through Chapter 1 and 2 in the same session. Take a break, but we won't even finish Chapter 1 probably. Okay, start each chapter by reading out loud its introduction, which you can find in the storybook. And then it'll tell you what paragraph to start with. You read the paragraph, you follow the instructions. Perform any of the following actions until a game component instructs you to go and read another paragraph. You can explore the location. Place one of the available action tokens on an unexplored area of the map card. Where is our map card? We should have one. Oh, that's the separate book we're going to be told to get, I guess. Map. One map. Okay. In The Awakening, there's a little cardboard map that's a grid that you put locations on. So this is a little different. All right, let's go back to continue here. Okay, so you take actions. You can explore the location, put one of your action tokens on an unexplored area of the map card and read the indicated paragraphs. You'll see it's a little bit like an adventure game. You'll say, okay, that looks interesting. We'll go there. We spend an action token to do that. And then we read a paragraph, which might tell us to go get some cards and form a puzzle. Here's the tricky thing. Rest or focus. If you don't have any action tokens and you want to explore the location, choose whether you want to rest by reading this or focus by reading this. You don't know what these will say, but they'll get worse. Okay, so we can rest or focus, take the top card and do what it says, which you'll have to do when you run out of action tokens. But it does create some tension. You want to do things efficiently. Or you can try to solve a puzzle by going to the app, and there's what the app looks like. Each puzzle has a symbol, and then it'll tell you how you have to express the answer to the puzzle. All right. But now here's the other new thing you can do with this box. You can combine cards. You open combine cards on the app and you enter the numbers of the cards you're trying to combine and read the outcome. And then it says, important, if you want to see what your main character thinks about a given card, combine the character card with another game card. So here's another thing that's new. We seem to have characters that we play. And so we can sort of ask a person about an item by going to this combine action. And that's it. You take an action, you spend an action token, you get read a paragraph, you can solve a puzzle, and so on. You just repeat. All right, so let's just go through a little bit more of this. In the storybook, it just tells you how it works. There's the number of the paragraph, there's a little bit of story text, and then there's instructions. You just read the story, which might have some clues, then you follow the instructions. The margins tells you the numbers on that page. And obviously, like anything else, you're not supposed to read something that's not your turn. Okay, locations. New puzzles, items, and story parts are discovered by exploring location cards. Paragraph introduces a new location. Will also instruct you to take location cards. You'll put it on the map card and a number of action tokens. So it's going to tell us how many action tokens we get. They accumulate. So if we don't spend them all on one location, we'll have them to spend otherwise. So then we follow the instructions. We lay out the two locations. You can see how it works. It's very cute. It'll tell you, okay, you've entered a house. Take these two cards, which go side by side to form the entire location, this grid. And then you can choose to go to a specific place by putting a token on there. And then you would read the paragraph depending on where on the card you go. It'll make more sense as we do it. Then it says, remember, the decisions you make during the game will lead you to only some of the location cards. It's not possible to see all of them in one game. So depending on how we choose, we're going to be playing certain puzzles and going to some places rather than others. Look closely at the location cards. Look for clues here. Once you've decided to explore an area, place one of the available action tokens on the map card and read the paragraph assigned to the chosen area. So this is how these map cards correspond to this grid. So you'll decide where to go. And I'm not sure why this doesn't... A, B, C, D. I see. Okay, there's our 4 across, 3 down. Okay, so this map card represents all the grid cells on these two cards. You say, we want to go there, then you'd place your token there. So they've chosen to go there. All right, and then you read that paragraph and follow the instructions. Now, let's read this. You will often not have enough action tokens to explore every nook and cranny of each location. Don't worry, not every corner needs close examination, which is why it's important to wisely select the areas you approach. If you ever run out of action tokens, you can draw a rest or focus card if you have any of them left in the deck. but it's scary to do that. If you still have action tokens when advancing to a new location, don't discard them. So we may have to be making some tough choices about when to move on to save our action tokens. All right, rest and focus cards. These were in The Awakening, but called something different. They were called something much more nefarious in the game we played in The Awakening. They were called like Doom, like it was explicit about bad things happening. Here, though, they allow you to continue the game after you run out of action tokens. When you wish to explore, but you don't have a token, you either draw the rest card or the focus card, and you read what it says. It'll have some story and some instructions, and they'll all tell you that you can get some extra, now take, after doing this, some action tokens. The upper part of the rest or focus card contains story. The bottom is the effects. Then it said, and the bottom part lists effects. Those cards are also modifier cards. You'll learn more about them in the character card and modifier cards. That's totally new to me, not in the game we played. Each chapter has its own rest and focus cards. When starting a new chapter, you throw away the old ones from the previous chapter and you get new ones out. Be cautious with rest and focus cards. Using too many will influence how your story unfolds and how it ends. So you might think of it as a penalty for being inefficient. Remember, you're not allowed to draw a rest or focus card if you still have unused action tokens. Okay. Game cards. These are the C cards, the stack of 184 of them or so. It'll tell you, the game will tell you when to take one, and then you just take it, you flip it face up, and you can use it. You can use it to solve puzzles. Some puzzles will require multiple cards to be combined. Some puzzles might be all alone on one card. Some cards won't be puzzles, but it'll be something else. And then here's a new rule. Each game card can be combined with other cards, providing new information or access to parts of the story which you would otherwise be unable to reach. That is quite clever. Okay, so these game cards come in these types. Some are puzzle cards, and you can see in the bottom right, it has a symbol that tells you what puzzle this card is related to. And you remember those are the different puzzles. You can see there's quite a few of them. 5 by 8, 40 puzzles. All right. Okay, so when you get a card, you know what puzzle it belongs to, so you'll know when two cards are part of the same puzzle, though you're not told how many cards a puzzle needs. Okay, here's another kind of card you can turn over in that deck, the item cards. Recognizable by their background, item cards always contain item illustrations. They may become useful later in the game. They may remain with you across different locations or even chapters, so you'll never know when you need to use it. And then you can combine them with other game cards, either with other items or characters, whatever. And look what it says here. They'll allow you to create new things, gain access to parts of the story you would otherwise be unable to reach. However, as in real life, any item can be broken or simply lost. And here's something else completely new to this box, or at least new from The Awakening. Character cards and modifier cards are special types of cards that describe your character abilities. They're always in vertical orientation and have statistics or modifiers. Keep all modifier cards slid under the character. So you can see they've slid them in this way so that they line up. So you can see this trait has now been modified by this and by this to give you a new trait value for 4 of these values. It says you can continue even if your statistics go below 0, but it's going to influence your story. Even when slid under your character card, you can still combine modifier cards with other cards. This way you may lose some modifier cards in order to gain something else in the game. It's not quite clear how that works, but maybe like if you get poisoned, then this gives you a negative trait, and maybe there's a way to cure that poison by combining it. pretty clever. I mean, you have to admit, this is a very intriguing system here. And then you could get a new map card. These locations display a grid and a smaller version of the illustration. So on here is a smaller version of the illustration that you'll build from the 2 location cards. And I don't know what these 3 spaces are. I don't remember. They are clearly where you would put action tokens, but I don't remember why they're there. It's going to walk us through it. One card may belong to several card types. For example, an item card may also be a puzzle card or a modifier card. Crazy. Okay, and then it tells you how to solve it in the app. You basically go to the app, which is just a web page. You pick what puzzle you're trying to solve. It says nothing you do in the app requires action tokens or comes with negative consequences. So nothing bad will happen to you if you fail to solve a puzzle, or if you go to the app, or even if you go to get a hint. That does not affect the story. Okay, and remember there's a combined cards thing. It says if you want to get a hint, you take a hint. It doesn't matter, you won't get punished. I like the philosophy they've taken here. Okay, so now it tells you about how to solve a puzzle, which we'll see when we do our first puzzle. But basically, when you click on a puzzle, you'll see there's 3 areas. An answer space where you put in your answer. A space where you can see how many symbols you need to answer that puzzle. So let's just see. Answer space. The number of individual symbol spaces is different for each puzzle. So it could be a 4-digit code, a 3-digit code, whatever. If the answer space displays 3 spaces, then the answer consists of exactly 3 symbols, letters, or numbers. After providing the correct answer, it'll tell you what to do. A hint for the answer format may appear above the answer space. The hint does not influence the solution of the puzzle. It merely instructs you how to properly enter the answer into the app. So if normally when you think you know how to solve a puzzle, you would go to the app and put in the solution. But if you wanted sort of a pre-hint, you could go to that puzzle and just say, well, what form is the answer in? And then you might go back and try to work harder on the puzzle. Okay, but then you can get other sort of hints. You can have it tell you how many puzzle cards are needed to solve that puzzle. You can ignore it if you want a harder game. Try to use your logic to figure it out. But you're not going to be able to solve it unless you have them all. If you want, you can go get information how many cards make up the puzzle. And then you can take hints. And when you take a hint, it just gives you a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more as you click the hint button. And then eventually it'll solve the puzzle for you. It doesn't keep track. It doesn't score you based on how many hints you got. So that's all on you. It's all about the narrative that's in the game decisions, not about solving the puzzles. And then it just tells you how to combine cards. It's just follow through with the app. Okay. End of the game. Escape Tales offers diverse paths through the chapters and different ways of finishing them. Your actions and decisions throughout the current chapter, as well as any previous chapters, will influence the ending you reach. The epilogue is a much shorter chapter that will result with one of many very different outcomes depending on the choices you made during the game. If you decide to take a break from the game after concluding the first or second chapter, remember to store the game cards you get separately because you get to keep them. Okay, saving the game. This just says, okay, there's a place at the back of the storybooks that you can write down what cards you have, etc., how many action tokens you have, etc. Okay, then a little summary of what's new from previous games. If you're familiar with the previous games, just talking about the rest and the focus, the new character and modifier cards, how each chapter has a different rest and focus deck, how it's broken into chapters. There's no exit condition or progress cards. I don't remember those. And then there's a new mechanic for combining cards. And here we have the credits for the game. Jacob Caban. This is obviously not American authors. These look like, what would you say, maybe Polish? All right. Well, a long introduction, but we needed to go over the rules. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm quite intrigued by this system. Intrigued by the focus on narrative and the focus on mechanical consequences that are sort of narrative. All right, let's see what this player aid is. So they're all the same. I think this just reminds us of our actions. Okay, to find out what Gilbert thinks about a particular game card, combine Gilbert with the item. Okay, Gilbert's must be our character. Read each paragraph in the story, but carefully to avoid missing valuable information. Explore the current location by placing action tokens on the map card. Pay attention to details hidden in the artwork. If you run out of action tokens, choose whether to rest or focus. When opening a new puzzle, click the needed cards button to remind you what cards are needed. Okay, so it's really just a little tip about playing the game. All right, so everything can get put out of the way. This isn't really a game that seems to need notes, but you might keep track of what paragraphs we've read so that we can go back to them. Any thoughts from the audience before we get started here? Does it appeal to you? Is the setup interesting? Does it seem a little more interesting than the Escape from the Asylum game? Or do you just can't tell yet? Greg, or if you're still here, you have any memory of The Awakening? Does this seem more interesting, less interesting? I guess I'm going to start opening these other game cards since you never know when it's going to have us. It may be that our choices, like obviously, we don't know how much more information it's going to get us, but if you said to me now, like, okay, we need more action tokens, should we rest or should we focus? That doesn't feel like a real decision that you can make with logic. So you may be the kind of person that hates that idea, that you're being forced to make decisions upon that you don't have any basis for making a smart decision. I think that happens quite a bit in this game. We'll be making choices that maybe half the time there'll be a smart way to make a smart decision, and then the other half of the time it'll just be a narrative decision that there's no real basis for making. All right, let me just separate these into some stacks here. All right, Matt, Jonathan says, can't tell yet. Matt says, seems interesting. The rules will make more sense to me once we get into it. Yeah, the rules are very simple once we get started. Alex says, looks interesting. I like combining of the cards like in PC Adventure Game. That's right. All right, so I just need to make sure these green tokens, I'll put them in a tray when we get started so I don't accidentally take some that I don't deserve. All right. Let me make sure you can see everything. So maybe we'll put our rest and our focus over here. Okay, these cards we don't need. That's from a future chapter. So let me put the future chapter stuff away. Player aid, I guess I'll keep that nearby. All right, so we've got our locations off to the side. I don't need to see those. Our rest, I guess you kind of need to see those there. Okay, our rest cards up there. These are our game cards that we'll get when we're instructed to. And then I've got a big supply of these tokens, which we'll take as we are instructed to. Trying to organize our game space here. All right, let us get started. Storybook 1. And we've got a map, but we're told it'll tell us when to use it. Okay, here we go. And Tina says, there is a game called 2 parts now. Actually, there's 3 parts now, called Cantaloupe, exactly like a PC adventure game. Yeah, I have Cantaloupe. It was gifted to me by Greg. Cantaloupe 1 was very highly regarded. I haven't played it yet. Cantaloupe 2, less so. And Cantaloupe 3, I don't know. But it definitely is all about sort of like a point-and-click adventure game. All right, here we go. If you are not 16 years and up, you should turn away now. I guess, hold on, before we start here. So if you like this video, if you want to see more of these videos, please give this video a thumbs up. What else do we need to recommend? We played Chronicles of Crime 1400 on Tuesday. You might check that out if you've never seen Chronicles of Crime. I want to recommend a series by Jason Perez, I can't remember exactly, Jason Perez perhaps. He's got a YouTube channel called Shelf Stories, and he talks a lot about ethical issues in the board game space. I don't always agree with him, but he's been doing a bunch of very thoughtful videos on, sort of inspired by this recent controversy with Quackalope and stuff, and talking about problems, ethics, possible solutions, biases, and stuff. I've been watching them. I want to recommend them. I commented it on the last one. Worth watching. Okay, anything else to discuss? Soon on this channel, we're going to tackle a big classic narrative game. Maybe one of the remaining crime dossier from the 30s that I haven't played yet. So if these puzzle games aren't quite your thing, we will be playing some more classic Sherlock Holmes consulting, detective, and crime dossiers soon. But I am looking forward to this. All right, let's get a little bit into this before we take our first break. Storybook 1. Prolog. Maybe I should use my cards for this, my cubes. Your name is Gilbert, and you live in a small town tucked away in the darkest corner of the world and surrounded by hostile wilderness made deadly by worm vines. These plant hybrids are regularly seen just beyond the relative safety of the town borders, and it is said that merely touching them as they claim yet another part of the city can drive a man mad. From what you know, this fate has befallen your parents. On the day you were born, worm vines breached your home and destroyed your family. Since then, you've been but a drifter with no place of your own, taking odd jobs wherever you found yourself useful. The only source of joy in your otherwise bleak existence is Sevilla, a girl roughly your age that you've been seeing for what seems like forever now. She's the daughter of Mayor Heliot. Since a notable figure like the mayor wants to have nothing to do with a lowly drifter, Sevilla and you keep your relationship a secret from everyone. Today started as any other day. You got up early and got dressed swiftly to sneak out of Sevilla's room before her father could come to see her. Before you made your exit, Sevilla stopped you. "Gilbert, there's something you must know," she said, her stern expression stopping you in your tracks. "Your name has come up in my father's conversations. He's up to something secret. I don't know what." "What?" you blurt out, surprised. "Why would he be talking about me? Does he know about us?" "I don't think so," Sevilla says, slowly shaking her head. "I'm not sure, but I think I know where we can find out more." She takes your hand and guides you to the cellar door. "Whatever he's planning, it has something to do with that place. We still have time before he gets here. Maybe we could take a look." You hesitate, but quickly realize that Sevilla is right. There's no time to waste. You walk up to the door and start looking for a way to open it. Okay, a way to open the cellar door. And now it says read P005. Okay, so we're going to go to P005 in the book. You stop before a large wooden door and try to force it open, but with no effect. The door is as sturdy as it looks to be, and the only way to get in is to somehow open the strange lock. Give each player a player aid. It will remind you all about the things you can do in this game. Take card C34. This is your character card. Always keep it on the table. As you can see, you have 4 statistics. Okay, so let's go take card C34 and then go back. Okay, take card C34. This is our character card. It says, always keep it on the table. As you can see, you have 4 statistics that will change during play. Now take location cards L1 and L2 without looking at them. Okay, so L1 and L2 without looking at them. I guess that means without looking on the other side. It's weird that they've got stuff on the fronts of them. I'm assuming. Let me just quickly see how it wants you to keep the location cards. Yes, surely this way, because the other side doesn't have the numbers. Okay. So take location cards L1 and L2 without looking and place them face down on the table in a way that makes a lock out of the 2 parts. I see. So here we have our lock. So there's the door. There's the lock on the door. Okay. This is a puzzle. In the lower right corner, you can see the symbol corresponding to this puzzle. Locate the symbol in the game app. Okay, well, that's the totality of the instructions. So we can put this away now. We can bring this out. Here's our puzzle. Okay. Where is the symbol for the puzzle? Right there. Okay. And now it's telling us, and there's our character card. Okay, and it says, go to the app to help familiarize yourself. Locate the symbol in the game app. Okay, so if we go to the app here, and we're looking for that little tree going with branches on the right-hand side going up. Where is it? It's on the upper left. So if I click this, it says, here's this puzzle. Your answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 4 symbols. And just to familiarize ourselves with this, I'm going to click needed cards. Let's see what it says. Only 2 tutorial card backs. Okay. So that was our tip, that these are the only cards we need for this puzzle, which we already knew because there's no other way to get new cards. All right. So you can see in the corner here, we've got a triangle, a square, a triangle with red in the center, and a square that's dotted. Okay, but that doesn't match these symbols here. But you would imagine that we need 4 numbers. Here are our numbers. But, okay, so here's a red with a 5, and that's a 5-sided shape. So that might be a 5 there. But it's dotted, so maybe We've got 4-sided shapes. We've got 6-sided shapes. We've got 5-sided shapes. We've got 2 5s. All right, let's see. So the channel has already, the chat has already solved this. This is why I think it took us a long time to solve, but now the chat seems to be way ahead of me. Okay, I'm not going to look at the chat for a second. I'm going to look at this on my own for a second here. All right, this is the prologue, so I could just go to the chat, but this is good. This is what you guys are in for now. This is going to be painful for you because you guys are too good at these games, and I am a victim of my own success here at finding such smart people at these puzzle games. But I have to allow myself a little bit of time on here. I come from a long family of slow thinkers, slow but deep thinkers. So let me spend a moment thinking about this. All right. So we've got 2 5-sided shapes. We know it's 4 digits, so we know we need a digit for each of these. That's 5 corners, 4 corners, 5 corners, and now 6 corners. We don't have any 6. So I see what we've got here. So here's a 4-sided shape with a 4 in the middle and a 3-sided shape with a 3 in the middle. Solid outline means the number in the middle is the number of sides or corners. Sides or corners, does it matter? Okay, but here now we have a dashed line, which means instead of a 4, that's a 5. And here we've got red in the middle, which seems to mean maybe that we add 2. So a plain vanilla one would be a 5. And then here's a red-filled one. So we normally would be 4, but we add 2 if it's red. So 5 and then 6, I think. Okay, and then here we've got a combination. It looks like it's a 5-sided shape, but it's dashed, which might mean we add 1, which would turn into a 6. And it's red, we might add 2, so that might be an 8. And then here we just have a dashed, so we just want to add 1. So if this is a 6-sided shape, hexagon, and we add 1, we get 7. So that's the number I come up with, 5, 6, 8, 7. Okay, and of course the chat has figured this out quite ahead of time. So there you have it. 5, 6, 8, 7 says Antina, and Jonathan agrees. Okay, so now you know what you're in for. Chat's going to solve it quickly. I'm going to solve it more slowly. When I get stuck, I'll go for help from the chat. But this is a thinky game. This is the prologue tutorial puzzle. Does require some thinking here. Okay, so 5, 6, 8, 7 is what we think the answer is. Let's take another look at this. Gilbert, to know what Gilbert thinks about a particular card, combine it with this card. And I think you can't combine it with locations, I believe. We'll see that to confirm. Stamina, spirit, sanity, and charisma. Okay, so let's put in the answer to this. Remember that if you get it wrong, there's no penalty. All right, so we're going to go to the app here. Let's see, should we do it this way? Okay, so 5, 6, 8, 7. So we're going to go to our answer, and we just type in 5, 6, 8, 7, and we click check, and it says intriguing. Read paragraph 2. Doesn't say we're right. It just says intriguing. Let's see what happens. Maybe we're wrong. Okay, paragraph 2. The door clicks and opens before you. You tell Sevilla to keep an eye out as you start walking down the stairs. At the bottom of the stairs, you feel something near the ground. You've just broken a tripwire. Before you can react, steel bars drop down to block your way out. Seems like you need to learn what's going on here and find the exit. Time to take a look around. Take card 53. This is a map card. All right, 53. Okay, so when you're told to take a card, you flip it over unless it tells you not to. Okay, so we've been given a new map card. Turn locations L1 and L2 face up and arrange them to create the image from the background of the map card. All right, so let's do that. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to do all this, but okay, so here's our map card. It's got a picture on it, which is going to be an image that we use that we recreate here with our location cards. So you can see that this is this. And we're in a room. It looks like this is meant to be like the west and east side of a room with a rug in the middle or something. And I see some of these vines here. We'll take a closer look at this in a second. All right, and then it says, take 5 action tokens. Okay, so we're being given 5 tokens to start with. Put cards R0 and F0, that's our rest and our focus, in front of us, each with just 1 card. Okay, now start exploring the room with your action tokens. To examine a part of the room, place 1 action token on an area of the map card and read the corresponding paragraph. Whenever you run out of action tokens and need more, decide if you'd prefer to rest or focus and take the top card from the chosen deck. Your decision will impact Gilbert's statistics, but also give you action tokens. If the chosen deck is empty, you cannot choose this action. Okay, so if you rest, he's going to be more rested. But if you focus, maybe you can see more information. Okay, so now let's figure out a good way to put these so we can see them. It's a little tricky. Maybe it's going to be tricky because I need to have be able to read the book as well. Let's see. Can we do it this way? All right, I think we can do it this way. And then I'll just use the cubes to focus in when we want to focus in. Okay, so we'll take a closer look at this scene and our map, but let's make sure you understand the rules here. So here's our map card. So if we choose to go and look at these green things, for example, then we would go to P008. We would read that in our book, and it would tell us what we see. Maybe something will happen to us. Like we were told that if you touch these, you go mad. If these are the green vines. But that's how you play the game. Maybe I'll put this over here. Okay, so yeah, okay. I want to make sure I'm on the good camera. All right. I don't know what these spaces are for. Maybe something can happen to you and it'll tell you you must spend one. All right, so we're going to take a closer look at this location cards and see what we can see here. I can go to full screen, but then I can't see it as well. Let's see, toggle tracking. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So there's, starting here, we've got some dungeon chains on the wall that you could shackle someone with, and a torch. Looks like we've got a photo of some sort of puzzle using cups that are half filled or fully filled. Got some cups on a shelf or cabinet here. Down here we have, I guess this is a table, and there's some vines here with a knife that you could use to cut them up. It's like a cutting board. Chair, bucket. This scary looking vines, looks like an eye in there. Looks like a toolbox with saw, pliers, axe. I'd like to get my hands on that toolbox. That might come in handy. Then we've got a little mantle bookcase. We've got something here that's blocked by my camera, so I can't see it. But maybe if I zoom in a little bit on this card, I can take a look at it with you. What is that? It looks like there's a map. It's a display cabinet with a map. It looks like almost like a treasure map that's locked. Bookshelf. What have we got here? Is this a chair? It looks like it's got some symbols on it, like some magical runes. I guess it's not a chair. Kind of looks like a chair or some sort of display statue. And then what do we have here? Some symbols on the wall with writing. Can we make that out? I can't make it out with my native eye, but let me see. Okay. This says Town Square, Wally Street, Allison House, something house, maybe warehouse or ward house. So 3 places have these special symbols on them: the Town Square, Wally Street, and maybe ward house have the golden rings around them. Maybe that's worth making a note here. I'm going to say Town Square, Wally Street, and ward house, it looks like to me. All right. And then here in this corner, we've got a locked chest down here and a doorway out here. So we were given 5 actions. So unless we get more or rest more, you might imagine we could only go to 5 places. And maybe we need to start keeping track of the paragraphs we read, because if we don't, we're gonna have a hard time going back. So we were told to read paragraph 2 that got us there. So we went from 5 to 2. And it told us what we should be doing, right? Paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 said that the gates came down to lock us in. We need to find the exit, is what it said. So that looks like an exit. I can't see the gates that came down. Let's check in with the chat. So John says, whatever's going on at D2 really looks like a puzzle. So Jonathan says the circles with gold glowing circles looks like a puzzle. Grabbing the tools seems like a good idea. Stacy says, I think it says warehouse. Jonathan says, are the cups we might need for the cups puzzle in D1? So, in other words, Jonathan's saying there's some cups here, and there's what looks like a cup puzzle in this photo here. That looks right to me. I think you're onto something, but I'll notice there are cups here too. I don't know why I'm showing the screen there. All right, well, what we'll do is we're going to take our first break here. If this game isn't for you, this would be a time you could dip out. If you are in love with this game and you want to play it on your own and don't want to be biased by us, you could stop watching here. You can get this game for the lowest I've seen it for is as low as like $25 for all the hours in here. That's very low. I think it's currently on Amazon now for about $35. So there you have it. We'll take a break. I'll see you in 8 minutes and we'll decide where we want to go. Okay, we're back. Remember, we're still playing the prologue here, so we're just being taught about this game, but it's time for us to decide what to do. So let's remind ourselves what we could do. We could try to solve a puzzle if we had one to solve. There isn't one to solve. We can go to a place, any place on this grid of 4x3, we can go by spending one of our, we only have 5 action tokens to spend. We can't rest or recover to get more action tokens. We do that only, we can do that only when we run out, and you pay a penalty for that. And then the other thing you can do is you can ask Gilbert what he thinks about a card. You can't ask him what he thinks about these locations or cards, but this map is a card. I think just for the fun of it, to see what happens, I'm going to ask Gilbert about this map card just to see how that works. So we're going to say, we're going to click Combine Cards. Okay. Now it says enter the card numbers, 3 digits each, and that's what these are. These are game cards. So if we want to ask Gilbert about a card, we say 034, that's Gilbert's card. And then 053 is the map card. Let's see what it says. It's impossible. Okay. That's that. All right. Maybe they did not anticipate we'll be doing that. All right. So I'll tell you where I want to go. I want to go pick up those tools first. It seems like having a box of tools will be useful for us along the way. So to go here, we would go there, right? That's that location. So we're going to spend our action point to go there, and we're told to read P012. P012. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. It's a little hard to get this all on the table without knocking things around. I think we'll be able to do it if we're just a little careful. Okay, P012, let's see what it says. A special crate for torture tools? Some areas like this one will give you no cards. However, they may still contain valuable information or parts of the story. Well, that was terrible. Total wasted time. All right. So we just wasted one of our precious actions going to look at that box of tools. Why he didn't pick it up, I don't know. All right, well, we've got a locked trunk, a locked map, what looks like an exit, or was it the way we came in and has it closed down? Can you see, are there bars that have come down and closed on that? It kind of looks like there might be, like maybe that's how we came in and that's closed. Well, we could go to this puzzle and see if we could solve it. We could mess with these green vines. We could try to check this out. I mean, this looks appealing if we can get this map. Or we could check out this puzzle. Or we could try to open this trunk. Jonathan says, let's look in the mirror with the cup puzzle. Okay, so you want to look at this mirror. I wouldn't call this a mirror, I'd call it a painting or something. Okay, so we're going to go here. which is P004. Sorry, P004A2. Okay, let's read paragraph 4. What a giant painting. People in it look pretty similar to Halot. His ancestors, perhaps, pretty similar to Mayor Halot. Take card C117. This is a puzzle card. Open the app and check the puzzle with the corresponding symbol from the card. It's a good idea to click on the required cards button. Now, you will need the specified number of cards with the corresponding symbol to be able to solve the puzzle. Okay, so it's first of all, it tells us to take card 117. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then it's giving us a little suggested hint. So, okay, so there's our C117, which we can turn over, and you can see it's a close-up of that painting. Okay, so there's the puzzle symbol. It looks like 2 cups with an X, 3 cups with a V, and some sort of transformational thing here. Okay, but it says, hey, before you get started too much, go to the app and check out this puzzle. So there's our symbol right there with the tree going down this time. And it says your answer is, now we're told how many spaces you need to answer this. 7 spaces. So this is going to be 7 numbers or letters. And then if we click on needed cards, which it's encouraging us to do, so I'm going to click needed cards and see what it says. 3 puzzle cards. Okay. So what does that mean? It means we know we need 2 more puzzle cards before we can solve this puzzle. There's no point trying to solve it with just this one. So we just take this, put it aside for now, and we can go back to the map. Now, as we discussed, we see some cups here. We see some cups here. So is that what we have to do? Do we go here and we go here in order to get those cups to help us solve this puzzle? That would eat up most of our actions just to get cards to solve this puzzle. But on the other hand, we've already wasted an action to get this puzzle card. So perhaps we're all in now and we need to do this. It's kind of agonizing because you'd kind of like to go check out some other stuff here. But I feel like, well, we've started down this path. We need to solve it, and maybe solving this puzzle will get us more action tokens. Nicola points out that there are 7 circles here. So is that what these 7 are about? They're not in this. Is that what the 7-digit answer is about? In which case, maybe we should go here to help us solve this. This round thing does look like those round things, but it's weird because these almost look like the answer slots, but they're not, because that's 3 plus 6, that's 9. Is this showing us that this is what happens? Like, is this telling us green goes to red, goes to blank, green goes to yellow, red goes to green, red goes to yellow, goes to red? Is this copied here? Top right has 7 cups too, does it? I suppose it does if you don't count these. If you don't count these, maybe that's not what you were saying, but if you don't count those, then we do have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me see what the chat is saying. We know we need 2 more cards, so the cup one fits. Top right has 7 cups too. Not sure what you mean, top right has 7 cups. Candles, maybe. I think I may be wrong. Okay. All right, so we're going to go to the cup. We're going to go to the cup. All right, let's start. Let's go here. This is the most prominent location of cups on some very strange symbol. So we're going to go there to P15. Seems like it might even be easier to put them here and then look them up. All right, P15. We're hoping to get another card for this puzzle. An actual secret shrine. Looks like they are worshiping the worm vines and the forest as some kind of god. And this room suggests that it's not a merciful deity. You decide to take the chalices from the altar as they seem important. Take card C103. This is a puzzle card. Open the game app, check the puzzle with the corresponding symbol from the card. It's a good idea to click the required cards button. Okay, so let's see if 103 is indeed another piece of this same puzzle. Okay, so there's the new card, and it is indeed part of the same puzzle. And we've got letters here, E, H, F, I. Interesting. So are we being told how to order these to spell out a word? They're all different configurations. He's a silver with a red, a silver plain, a silver with a green, a yellow with a red, which matches the stuff here, right? There's a yellow with a red. There's a plain with a red, which is an E. It would make sense that there's more of those. And is this the letter X and the letter V? Is that what's going on here? Okay, so I think we should try to get that last puzzle piece, right? And we see chalices up here. Any objection to going here and getting them? Surely not. We're all in. Okay, so we're going to the other cups. Okay, so we're going to go over there, which is P14. These shelves seem like they have a special purpose. There are 2 chalices standing in marked spots with a few more cups lying around. Take card C41. It's a puzzle card, and then the text is all the same. Okay, C41. All right. So let's take a closer look. It is from the same puzzle. We now know we have all 3 pieces that we need. You got to appreciate the art on these cards. Okay, so what have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 7 blank spots here, I'll note. And these have letters. We've got a G green, an A red, and a solid yellow B. So if we combine all of our pieces, it feels like this is a constraint on, so here we are, we're going to lie them all out in an order. This is a constraint on the ordering, I guess. So I think probably these are constraints on ordering. And then this is different ways to get X's and V's. I'm not sure what this is about. But let's see if we can make some sense out of this. So if we just look at this top thing, plain and then red and then green, that seems to be saying that we could have an H. There's our plain H, then an E, and then this green is an F. Sorry, you can't see that. Why is that? Okay, so I'm reading this as saying like this is a constraint. It's not necessarily that these are in this exact order, just that the H is before the E is before the F. So let's look at what this one is. It's an E, an I, and an E. So E, I, no, not I. E, and what's this? That's our B. So E, B, and then another E. My pen's not doing its thing. And then this one is F, I, F, F, I, F. So if that's what if these all three mean that pattern, that this is the order in it, then we've got some constraints in H before E before F, and then B after or before. It's hard to know whether it's in reverse order or not. Let me just see how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we do have 7 letters of chalices. And I wonder what... Well, let's see. It's these arrows going in the wrong direction that make me think that we may have to reverse it, but if you've got any theories about what this is, all right, let me just think here. So if it's H before E before F, H, E, F, and then the B has to be over here on this side of the E. Well, could be on either side of the E. That's a little confusing to me. And you're gonna have a hard time seeing what I'm writing. All right, so channel has something to say. Let's see. I think it's an X and check. Let's see. Okay. Puzzle card seems to suggest relative placement of the cups. Those might be the rules of how to place the cups. We have to go to the cups. a gold cup in the first card. X and V is as in wrong and right. Okay. It probably says not the same color next to each other. I think you're right. That's a very good observation. So what you're saying there is that this is telling us two of the same background color is not allowed. You must alternate. I think you're right. That's a very good reading. The red gem is before the green gem. On the top row, the discs below the cups are spaced apart, while on the bottom row, they're next to each other. So I think the bottom row says that there's a gold cup exactly between the first row is about the gems and the second is about the chalices and the materials. I see. Okay. I think you guys are right. So what you're saying is notice that these two things are different. I was saying it's a 3 and then this is a thing, but you're saying no. This one is saying ... So here's some general ordering that green, red, blank. And this is a different set of rules. This is explicitly telling you that there's a gold between two reds and a gold and a red between two greens. And this is telling you that the copper and the silver can't be next to each other. They have to be separated. Okay, so if that's true, we know there must be a silver here. It's weird though, we've got coppers. But I wonder if that means there must be an H here, because it has to be an H before a red, before a green. Not 100% on. Let's just think about this a little bit. These cubes are getting a little difficult. Okay, so an H is a silver here, which can go next to a copper, but then there has to be a copper next. So there's our H plane. Now it has to be a copper. So does that mean it has to be one of these? Does that mean it has to be a red? It has to be red. So that would be the A. And it has to be a silver, which would be the green. That would be that part. This is a little confusing because down here, there's no gold here. So maybe this just means you can't have two of the same color next to each other, and it's covering gold also. So, but I think what we've got is we must have the H and the A and the E in this order, unless this is irrelevant about color of the cup, in which case the red could be the E or the I. Why did I put an A there? Oh, because, or that. So it can't be the E, but this could be an A or an I. So one question is whether this is telling us explicitly, like this is telling us it's gold. So here's a gold with nothing and a gold with a red. let's do that, because that's very clear to us, because that's a specific thing. The gold with no gem is this thing right here. That's a B. And then the gold here with the red gem has to be the I. And then on the side of this red, gold red diamond has to be a green and a green that can only, well, it's not clear whether this has to be a silver or it could be this thing here. So let me just say that this could either be the F, or if it's this one, or the G if it's this one. I'm going to put it like that to say that this triplet here has to be the I, and then either an F or a G, copper or silver, copper or silver. For this one, this solid gold must be the B, is how I'm reading it. And then we've got a red that's not going to be gold. So for the red gems that aren't gold, we got two choices. We have an E, or we have the A if a copper is allowed. E and A. Okay, so that's our two bottoms here. And then it must be green, then red, then blank. I think that means that these are the 6 letters before it, and then we've got one more, which has to be something without a gem. So it's either going to be the B has no gem, or the H has no gem. So as I read it, we've got a B or an H, and then an E or an A, a B, an E or an A, F and G, I, F and G. So it could be H, A, B, E, G, I, F, or B, E. Seems like it can't be a B if we want to use all the letters. I guess we don't know that. H, A, B, A, and it could be in the opposite order, right? Probably not. We don't know if what order this is telling us. So how did I get... I don't know if this comes before this. H. How do we know which of these it is, the E or the A? The H is a silver. So if we think it's an H, silver, then we know it can't be the E. It would have to be the A. H, A, B. And then If we're asking for all new letters, that would have to be an E, which is a silver. Then it can't be the F, it has to be the G, I. Sure doesn't seem like it's the right thing. I'm not sure if this is confusing us with the way the arrows move. If it is confusing us, then if it wants green first, then you would expect, let me just write this out in that way, I, F, G, and then the red, which was E or A, then a B, and then an E or an A, and then a B or an H. You know it can't be the B, it would have to be the H, because that would be next to that. But we have a green gem here, so maybe that's already this. If that's an H, silver, then between the E and the A, it can't be the E. It would have to be the A, B. And then the only reason I'm excluding this one is because we already have the A. That would make this an E. E, B, A, H. And if that's an E, then between the F and the G, it can't be the F, so it has to be the G, I, and it's just the opposite direction. That doesn't really... Okay. So it looks like the chat has come to the same answer as me as their guess. Habegif. That's what I have. That's what the chat says. And the chat says, try it before overthinking it. Okay, so fair enough. Let's put this into the app and see what it says, especially since there's no penalty for trying something. Okay, so we're going to put this into the app. F-I-G, oh, sorry. Habegif. All right, you ready? Here we go. Check. Well put. Okay, so we got it. Now, what could we learn from that before we, just quickly before we move on? I was a little bit worried about this, but this is pretty clever here. I mean, you guys picked up. This is saying you can't have two things next to each other of the same color. Any different. The only thing that really threw me off is we've got copper, silver, gold. And here we don't, we've got our gold, but then the plain ones don't seem to be distinguished. But this was some smart thinking. Okay. Well done, read P009. So it took us a lot of effort to get this puzzle. Let's see if we get a reward here of some sort. One would hope so. As you put the last of the chalices on its marked spot, you hear a satisfying click and see that the painting moves a bit to the side. Behind it, there's a safe. Discard cards 41 103 and 117. Okay, so we're going to discard the puzzle cards we used to solve that. Take card 159. Okay. So we've discovered a safe, which is pretty darn cool. But it's another puzzle. Whoa, look at that. It's a safe. Well, I would like to get into that safe. And now it's just reminding us that we could check the required cards. All right, so we've got a safe. There it is. You can see it's got some small symbols on it. It looks like it wants 3 things, but let's go to the app and find out. In fact, before we do that, let's just see something. If we go to this thing we just did, let's see what the hints tell us. Let's get a feel for this. Okay, take a hint. You need to put the chalices in a correct order according to the rules from the painting. Remember that Gilbert can help you out. So combine him with the painting. So if we had combined with the painting, we forgot all about that combination rule. Gilbert may have made some observations. The silver chalice with the green gem should be on the far right. The silver chalice with the green gem. Oh, they're just saying of the cards we lay down, that's the one that should be on the far right. Okay, let's keep going. The silver chalice without any gems should be on the far left. Observe the rules from the painting to solve the rest. The answer is that. Okay, so there you have it. So nice hint system. Let's try combining Gilbert now to see what it says. Okay, so just for fun, we're going to combine Gilbert. It's good we looked at that. We're going to combine Gilbert with this painting to see if he has an observation. So I'm going to say combine cards 034, which is Gilbert, with 117, which is the painting. Let's see what he says. There's so much going on in this painting. It's definitely important. Here's what I think. In the given color of chalices, the green gem is always on the right side of the red one. And the red gem is always on the right side of a chalice with no gem. The golden chalice with no gem is between 2 chalices with green gems. Any 2 chalices of the same color can't stand next to each other. So he's basically, not even a hint, he's basically given us the rules. It's weird that it's basically a giant hint. And that's free to do, to show him. So we could have had this solved for us by the game if we had remembered that we should do that. That's very interesting and weird. Nicholas says, I don't think rule 1 was well communicated. Let's see. In a given color of chalices, the green one is always on the right side of the red one. Yes. Okay. So we didn't quite catch that rule. We knew this was telling us the order, but it's actually more specific. It's saying that it's the order for 3 of the same type. So 3 silvers have to be in this order, and the 3 coppers would have to be in this order, and the 3 golds would have to be in this order. That's interesting. Okay, we kind of missed that, but we solved it on our own anyway. All right. Well, these puzzles are not to be scoffed at, but we could have gotten a big hint if we had remembered to do that action. Okay, that's fine. All right, well, we know what we're going to do with this safe. We're going to show it right to Gilbert and ask him what he thinks. But before we do, let's look for this puzzle and let's follow the instruction, the suggestion to ask how many cards. This, if you want a harder game, you don't have to do this, but it's in the upper left. Okay, so we know it takes 6 digits or letters. And if I click needed cards, it says we need 2 puzzle cards. Okay, so we don't have enough to solve this yet. However, let's ask Gilbert what he thinks about this. Hey, Gilbert, what do you think about this safe, card 159? A safe? I will be rich at last. Okay, Gilbert did not help us much with that. All right. Now, here is the problem. We've only got one more action token left before we have to rest. You might imagine that the prologue wants us to rest or focus. But I'm going to move this over here. But now the question is, what do we do? We only have one more free action, then we have to do pay some cost. So I mean, does anything about this safe suggest to you where we would go to open it? And should we be messing with this safe, or should we be trying to get out? What do you notice here? First of all, the most glaring thing are these things. We've got a yellow and a blue. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, it was 6 digits or symbols. So for each of these, we're going to need a digit, probably. And maybe these are digits for spinning the wheel, like clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise. So if you had to guess, this is probably going to be, pairs of digits with the first digit quite low, maybe low in number, I guess, but 2 digits in each you'd expect, like 34, 46, 67. But blue and yellow. Okay, I see something that's blue and yellow. Look at that. Blue and yellow, we have numbers for. Why would they be using our codes for that? I don't know. Anything on the map suggests where we would go to learn his safe combination. I mean, he could keep his safe combination in the locked box. The limited actions makes this stressful. Let's see what the chat says. There are numbers on the dial itself. Yeah, there are numbers, but I took those as sort of generic safe digit numbers. But maybe you're right. Maybe they're not. I see it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 00, 0. Okay. So actually, yes, if it's limited to these, then it's all powers of 10. And then there's the fact that these are in these different positions. But we can't solve this without the other puzzle piece. So the real question is, do we know where we would go to get the second puzzle piece for this? Remember where the safe is. It's here. Does that help us? I almost feel like we can't know where to get more safe information. Let's see what the chat says. Can we zoom in on C1? Sure. There's C1. Bookcase. Just a bookcase. I mean, it could be a secret, could be in a secret compartment. You take the books off in the right order. It doesn't look relevant for our safe, but maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't need to open the safe. Rightmost cell of middle row seems to have the most information. So you're saying you think this one has good information. The problem with that is that this is just information. It doesn't, there's no real suggestion that there's a puzzle here. Whereas we've got locked map and a locked trunk. Don't you want to go to the places that we can unlock? Or maybe you want to go to that. I guess it seems crazy to mess with this green worm vine. What's in this bucket, I wonder? All right, channel. Time for a vote. Where do you want to go? Your choices are this square to look at this stuff, the locked map, the locked trunk, bookcase, the worm vines, the bucket, the hanging chains. Do we need to keep the cards rotated 90 degrees? You're asking for us, you like it better if it's rotated in a different way? We can rotate it any way we want. We just have to remember the map should be the same way. So we need to make sure they line up. And Tina says, I don't think it really matters. We're in the tutorial, so we probably would have to take a rest to see the mechanic. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. It wants us to need to rest. That's what we're going to do. I want that safe open, though. Jonathan says, I vote D2, which is here. No, D2 is there. D2 is there. A map case. I do kind of want to get at that map. The problem is if it takes more than one puzzle piece. Well, okay, let's go to the map. Since no one else has spoken up, we're going to go to the map. Nicholas says, it's just I find it much easier to see what's on the cards if they are right side up. Well, there is no right side up, but I guess, yes, these look like they want to be oriented vertically. Okay, well, I'm happy to rearrange them as you guys see fit. All right, so we're going to go to the map. This is why you've got this map card. So when we rotate these, this is like this. Remember that the picture is the same. So this picture here shows this green vine here. So D2 is here. You don't have to worry about that. You just, we're going to go there, which is P021. here we go. That's our last card. Move these things a little bit. Okay, 21. We went to the map. Wait. Sorry, that's not where I wasn't sure if I did it wrong. You're going to C2, not D2. Right. Okay, sorry. So let me see what the chat wanted me to do. D2 is okay. D2. It's okay. We're getting used to it. All right. D2 is here. Is that where you wanted to go, Jonathan? Here? When you say you want to go somewhere, don't just give me the coordinates. Tell me what is there so I make sure we're on the same page. So this is D2. Is that where you want to go? Nicholas says, I don't like how this game is structured. Very complicated to play. It's interesting. I'm very surprised at that, but I can see that. Okay. So we started reading it, so let's go here. D2, which is 21. Circular holes in the wall have labels corresponding to different town locations. As you look into the holes, you see what's happening at those places. This guy really has an eye on everything. A few holes have labels you don't recognize, and as you take a look into them, you see the wilderness. Were those places part of the town in the past? Some areas like this one will give you no cards, however, they may still contain valuable information. So this is these are like the security cameras, and they're looking into areas of the town. Some of them might not even exist in the current time. So maybe we need to take note of these. So we've got Marston House or something. And then the town square, which is glowing. Wally Street, which is glowing. And then Main Point. And then the bottom we have Crossroad. And then a glowing warehouse or ward house. And then a forgotten house. And maybe we're being told that the ones with gold are working. You can see into them and the others aren't. I'm not sure. Or vice versa. All right, we're going to keep that as our note. Okay, so now we've gotten to a new event. We run out of actions. And we must, since we have nothing else to do, we don't have a puzzle that we can solve, we must take a rest or focus step. Both will probably have some bad consequences. Both will give us more tokens. So what do you want to do? Do you want to rest or do you want to focus? Probably we're going to end up doing both of these in this tutorial. In the interest of keeping things moving along, I'm going to pick one to do. I'm going to say we focus because, you know, we don't need rest yet. We haven't been down here for that long. We're not that tired, and we're having trouble seeing what to look for, so we need focus. So I'm going to flip over this card. All right, now are we doing this the right way? Okay, so we're going to choose to rest or focus. So I've decided to focus. So let's read what focus says. Your nerves are getting the better of you as you start running around the room. You cry out Sevilia's name, but there's no answer. They'll come back any minute now. You need to get a grip on yourself. You take a few deep breaths and go back to where you left off. Note, this is a modifier card. Slide it under your character in a way that makes stat modifications visible. And now take 5 action tokens. Okay, so Gilbert now gets this card. So he's lost a bit of his stamina. However, it's given us 5 new action tokens. So we're going to put these 5 more tokens out. So we've got 5 more places we can go. Now, it did say sometimes we can interact, but this is not, this is an F card, so you can't interact with the F cards. You can't combine the F cards. It's just that. Okay, and we didn't use the rest action. So he's just got 1 less stamina. We've not had any use for that yet, so no big deal. But now we've got more actions to take. So back down to the table we go. We've gone there. That was D2. Okay, where to now? All right, I would like to go... I guess if you wanted to open the safe, you might go to one of these strange places. Safe is behind the painting, though, so you might expect it might be written on a wall. Bookcase, says Jonathan. Okay, Alex says bookcase as well. All right, so we're going to the bookcase there. The bookcase is C1. Let's get it out. I need to rearrange this stuff better. This is going to need to be put further on the side. Gilbert doesn't really need to be visible. Neither does this card we're working on. Okay, so C1 is P20. Let's see what we've got here. A bookshelf filled with books. You've never seen so many tomes in one place. Where did they get them from? Take card 96. This is a puzzle card. Doesn't really need to repeat itself, this whole stuff. It's gonna, if it does, it's just gonna be distracting. We won't notice when some important message comes. Okay, so 20. Let's see what we've got here. All right, well, I do see yellow and blue and a whole bunch of stuff. These are very dense cards. What have we got here? Is it the same symbol as our safe? Yes. Your instincts were correct. This is part of the safe, and we now have the 2 puzzle cards we need to open the safe. All right, let's see what we've got here. We've got books that look like if you put them in the right order, they would give you those 2 digits, perhaps. So I think what we've got here is, look, 3 rows of shelves. The bottom row is the blue and yellow. That's the bottom row. So these 2 digits are going to be from the top of the shelf. These 2 are going to be from the middle. All right, so this is going to tell us what the yellow and red is. And I think it's saying here the yellow comes first. So this yellow looks like a 0 to me. But it looks like multiple zeros. Boy, this is a little spatially tricky. It's an 8, is it? Do you think it might be an 8 stacked up that way? An 8? Okay, and then if we stacked these up, and I was thinking we would do this way, it kind of looked like a 0, but now I'm thinking, okay, if we stack it up this way, is there any way to know what order to stack them in? Okay, then what does our blue look like? Maybe a 7? Is that a top of a 7 and then middle, bottom to give us a 7? So I get 7, I get 87. I think that sounds like others in the channel are thinking a similar thing. So bottom row, I'm thinking is an 87. I wonder if there is some logic to this. We could try asking Gilbert about this. Let's see if what we make out of this ourselves first. I think this last digit is an 87. Now let's start here, the top row. These look like they're going to be letters. And it seems like here we might sort them in order. E, I, G, H, T, E, E, N, 18. Okay, so our top row is going to be 18, which is our middle column. All right, what about this? Let me zoom in on this a bit. What have we got here? EWENTY 20. Okay, so a little bit easier this time. Okay, so middle shelf 20, top shelf 18 if you arrange these in order. Bottom shelf, we came up with 87 if you stack these. And so the final thing, 2018 87. I think that's right. That feels right to me. And pretty fun. Okay, so let's see if we can solve this, and then we'll take a little break. All right, so we're going to go back to this puzzle. Okay, doing it in that order, we've got 2, 0, 1, 8, 87. Check. Nice. Read card 18. Okay, that's pretty good. You can see, I think it's very instructive to compare this versus Escape the Asylum. You can see the constraints and the handcuffing of having to have every answer be a 4-digit number really makes the game much harder to design. Whereas here, they've got the flexibility to have different lengths of different puzzles. Some take letters, some take numbers, and they don't have to have separate cards for different things. Okay, so it says page 18, paragraph 18. Here we go. We've opened the safe. I am very excited. I want what's in that safe. You open the safe only to find a few notes and some sort of mechanism. The notes say something about sacrifices to the wilderness and that they need to take place every 3 months. The last one was exactly 3 months ago, which means they plan to make one today. Has our girlfriend sent us down here to get killed? The mechanism is currently stuck. Looks like you'll need a special key to make it work. Discard cards 96 and 159. That was our puzzle cards. Take card 3, C3. Let's see what we've got here. Whoa, so we've opened the safe and there's like a little extra door at the back of the safe with a metal handle of some sort, a goldish handle. And we found some notes. So I'm gonna sacrifice every 3 months. And it's now the 3-month period. It feels like we're the sacrifice to me. Okay, but now notice that it's not a puzzle. It's not a part of a puzzle. It's basically an item that we're going to keep. The mechanism is stuck. You'll need a special key to make it work. I don't see any sign that we need a key for this, but oh, is that what it is? There's a keyhole right there. I see. Okay. So we need a key to open up this thing, but now we get to take this with us, I guess. And put it off to the side with Gilbert. Gilbert's carrying it. Let's ask Gilbert about it. That's what Nicholas says. Okay, let's ask Gilbert about it. Yes, let's. Okay, so card 034 is asking about 003. What do you say, Gilbert? Of course, there's no money in the safe, but still, safes tend to hold valuable things. Maybe I'll find something useful there. Well, Gilbert, that wasn't particularly helpful. All right, but we're going to keep this card. Still have 4 actions left, quite a bit. There's only 6 more places on this card, so it seems like we're going to get to go most of the places here. We haven't been here. We haven't been here. We haven't been here. That doesn't look that interesting. We haven't been here. We haven't been here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. 6 places left. All right, well, I'm curious to go here. Maybe we'll find a key there. I'm definitely curious to see the map. Maybe the key's in the pail. Nicola wants us to flip this around, okay? Sure. Oh, we haven't been there either. Do you see, might there be a key under that thing? Looks like there might be a ring. If it's not an eye, it looks like a ring. It could be a key. That could be a key. What do you think? Chains in the top left, yes. Chains hanging down where you would shackle someone. I wonder if there's a key under that squirming pile of worm vines. Looks like a little handprint here, too. But we did try to go there. Yeah, that's a little handprint. This is creepy here. Like someone was sitting in that while someone was chopping up this worm vine. All right, it's time for us to take a break, though. Looks like a ring. It does look like a ring to me, too. But it could be the tip of a key. But you're right. No, you're right. It's not extending into it. It's just a ring of some sort, which could be useful for us. All right, time for a break. I'll see you in 8 minutes. Okay, we're back. Air conditioner off. Jonathan says, I do wonder if it would not be a little nicer to have two map cards, the ones we mark, so the other two cards could both be oriented in an easy to read way. Two map cards. I see this map card and another one. Well, anyway, I am enjoying this game. It's clear it's going to take us a long time to get through it, though. All right, so we've got 4 more actions left. You guys should just shout out when there's someplace you want me to go. And you don't even have to worry about saying the grid location. Just say what's on the space you want to go to, and I'll worry about doing the rest of it. The real question for me is whether we're going to go to this green vine sooner rather than later. The fact that there's that ring on it means we are definitely going to go there. I just don't know in what order. Nicholas says, might make sense, just put the location cards right side up. Then when we decide to go somewhere, check which paragraph. I see what you mean, right side up. Now I'm getting what you mean. What you mean is, don't connect them. Just put them both in the same right side up. And then just refer to the map card when we need to. I get you now. I get you now. Okay, let's do that. So I'll worry about doing the map card. It's actually kind of a shame that they didn't just put the numbers on it, like D1, whatever. Then you could just look at the thing to tell you where to look it up. I suppose I could build a grid that has that. All right, well, another time. Jonathan says, I'm nervous about the vine since it's supposed to make you lose your mind. Yeah, I am too. I am too. And we do have a sanity. Shall we go to one of these two places? How about we go to this map? I'm very curious about the map. I want a map, and so if you had to tell me only one of these you were going to get, I would choose the map. So let's go to the map while we've got our energy. All right, so the map is C2. We're going to the map. It's upside down. It doesn't matter. C2, which is paragraph 1. All right. Let's read paragraph 1. The cabinet contains an actual map of the town's surroundings. You've never seen anything like it. In fact, you haven't even heard about anyone going this far and getting back. A key is placed on the map. You'll surely need it. However, the cabinet is closed and the glass doesn't break easily. Looks like you'll have to open the lock the normal way. Take card C179. So it looks like we got 2 things. It looks like we got the key and we've got, whoa, there's a weird card in there. We've got a key and the possibility to get this great map of the village. I really wish they didn't keep repeating this. Why are they wasting so much of this book space with the same exact text? That just seems crazy. Okay, well, that looks very familiar, doesn't it? That's the key that goes in that little keyhole. So what's interesting is that it's part of a puzzle, but it's also an item. I think this is our first case. So I think we could combine these two cards to use the key to open this. And then separately, we'll have a puzzle to work on. So let's try combining these two things. The game tells you that the order doesn't matter, if you were concerned about such a thing. Okay. All right. So we're going to combine 179 with 003. Oh, Jonathan says we can't combine them yet. We don't have this key. You're right. You are right. We don't have the key. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's definitely the right key, but first I need to get it out of that cabinet. Okay, good. Good point. Good point. So we need the key to open the safe, but the key is locked in the cabinet. It's part of a puzzle. It looks like it's got a combination lock. It looks like it's got 4 digits. And we've got 1, 2, 3 places. And hey, look at this. There's our glowing circles on the wall. There's our 3 glowing circles on the wall. There are those. Why is this fuzzy? Why isn't it clearer? So okay, let's do our thing. First of all, let's have Gilbert look at this map case, see what he observes. So I asked Gilbert. I mean, in general, we don't really have to do this unless we get stuck, maybe. But I guess since it's all new to us, I'm kind of curious. So if I ask Gilbert to take a good look at that map case, let's see what he says. I didn't know our neighborhood is so big. Yeah, useless. All right. Now let's select this puzzle and see what it says about this puzzle. Okay, so it's a 4-digit code, just as we sort of suspected from this 4-digit combination lock. But if I check needed cards, it says 2. All right, so there's one more puzzle missing to solve this. One more card. It's clearly related to those 3 spaces. But I'm not sure we have any logic to tell us where to go to get the other puzzle piece. Where would you expect to go to get another puzzle piece? I mean, I guess here would be the only place that comes to mind. Or actually, the ring here. Because this is gold. So, and the circles are gold. And that's a gold ring. So maybe if you had to guess, that might be where we would go for that. I think it might be time to go to those madness-inducing vines. On the other side of the table. All right, I'm going to make a judgment call and go right for the vines. I'm a little nervous about it. but it is the prologue. All right, so the vines, let's put this where this was. Okay, so we're going to go on the vines. Yes, we do also have the chest, but I feel like this would be the most likely place to get something gold for this. I'm nervous about it. Yes, I am. Paragraph 8. Tentacle-looking worm vines embrace the altar. Between them you see something shiny, perhaps a ring. Judging by the bloody stains, approaching them may prove dangerous. Take card C156. This is a choice card. You need to make a choice and read the paragraph. Oh, Lord. So this is something new for us and a little scary. So we looked at the tentacles. They looked dangerous. And now look what we've got. Oof. Choose now. Reach into the worm vines or don't reach into the worm vines. Look at those spikes. Look at those quills. Look at those spiky quills. All right, time for a vote. Okay, look. This is what I want in this kind of a game. Puzzles at their core, but a slow burning, creepy mystery with things like this choice. All right, vote. Reach in or don't reach in. And remember, this is not a democracy on this channel. So I can override, but I'm getting your opinions here. Jonathan says, don't reach. The way I see it, we've got quills here that look like they might even be poison. It seems to me the game is giving us our hints that we're going to get injured. And we don't know that we have a use for the ring yet. And we haven't explored enough to know we might find a tool that could help us get it. So it seems to me the smart thing is to not reach in. This almost seems like an easy choice because it's not like if we don't reach in, it seems like we should be able to do this again later. Like it's not something where the thing is disappearing. Okay, so it seems like we are all in agreement to why I'm trying to see why Antina's vote wasn't registered. Antina wrote vote don't, but it didn't register. Is it because of the capital letter? This is my plugin that's handling this vote. And I'm trying to think. I'm trying to wonder if is it because you voted before I put up the thing, or is it because of the capital? Someone remind me to check into that and make sure I fix it if it's the capitalization. Okay, well, we're done here. We're going to not reach in. So we've chosen not to reach in, so we're going to read 23. Don't reach in 23. Let's see what happens to us. You decide not to risk your sanity and leave the worm vines in peace. The ring's probably not that important anyway. Someone may have put it there just to torture you. Discard card 156. Nothing bad or good happens. Sometimes no news is good news, as all your decisions impact the story in one way or another. Well done. Seems to be saying we made the right decision. And now we discard this card. Okay. Should we make a pile of things we want to look into later? Let's make a special discard pile of stuff to go back to. Okay, so we went to the tentacle worm vine. You can't go back to it again. I don't think you're allowed to do that choice again. So we can't take that ring. That's a little bit troubling. We could have taken that ring, maybe suffered a little bit of injury, but had the ring. Now I think we don't get the ring. That concerns me. Okay. Jonathan says, now let's go to that crate over there. All right. Looks like it needs a key that we don't have, though, but let's give it a try. So that is... what location is that? I think it's... it's tricky. I think it's... it's this one right here. P19. Is that right? C3. Yeah, okay. That's tricky, but we're going there, which is C3, which is P19. Well, let me put it there until we go there. Okay. P19. This chest looks really old, yet it's secured with a new sturdy lock. You will have to find the key that opens it. Take card 140. This card will require another item to be opened. Another item card to be opened. Use the combined cards when you're ready to do that. Okay, remember this is a tutorial, so it's giving us a little bit of a hint. Okay, why is it so shiny there? It's just reflecting on the light, huh? Okay. So here's our lock that needs a key. It's another 3-circle symbol. It's not a puzzle card. It just wants a key to be used. Well, we don't have the key. We don't have any card to combine with it. Let's have Gilbert look at it. $140. If Gilbert notices anything we don't. A regular lock, but with this weird symbol. Why do they put it on it? Everything. That's that 3-circle symbol. So the 3-circle we looked in, we could see parts of the town. We've got 3 items now. One is for a puzzle that needs another puzzle piece to complete. So you might imagine that the scenario works like this. We need a puzzle card that lets us open this. Then with this, we can open this. And then in here, there might be a key that we could use to open this. So if that's the sequence, then the question is, where do we find the other piece of this puzzle? Where have we not gone? We haven't gone here. Let's turn it around. We haven't gone here. And we haven't gone here. And we haven't gone here. Red chair, huh? All right, red chair it is. This is the way you guys should do it. You just scream out when you want someplace for us to go. Red chair it is. All right, here we go. Red chair is our last place we're allowed to go before we run out and have to rest. P007. Put these over here with Gilbert. All right, here we go. P007. A comfy chair just out of a prisoner's reach. You can imagine Haylot sitting here and watching some poor soul being tortured. You also find a bucket filled with excrements. Upon a closer, albeit somewhat reluctant inspection, you find a false bottom and a compartment with some keys. One of them opens the shackles. I guess we're in shackles. What sort of deranged bastard chains you to a wall while leaving the keys within your reach? Do they find pleasure in this? Disgusting. Also, you'll definitely need to clean your hands before Sevilla sees you. Okay, then it says, take card C84. It's an item card. You can try to combine it with other cards in the game. Okay, remember, it's a tutorial, so it's walking us through. Okay, C84. It sounds like we found maybe a generic key that's going to open that trunk. Whoa, look at that. That is a pretty cool looking key. Whoa, it's a key within a key. It's a large key with an extra little key. And there's our three symbols that seem to be part of this cult. Okay, it's not a puzzle, but it is an item. So it seems like now we can combine these two cards and surely open this up. So 140 and 84. Here we go. We finally got to combine, huh? So 84 and 140. This is kind of exciting. Let's give you a proper view of it. Here we go. Read paragraph 10. Okay. The lock opens and you get into the chest. Inside you find an intriguing book full of notes. Seems someone has been keeping track of Wyrmvine appearances and connecting them to events and townsfolk. One of the pages lists people born on the same day the Wyrmvines appeared, calling them worm children. Some of the names are crossed out. I've always thought these people were lost in the woods, but it turns out they were sacrificed. Horrified, you discover that your name, as well as Sevilla's name, is on the list. So we're on a list of people born on the same day the Wyrmvines appeared, and these kids are being sacrificed. Discard cards 84 and 140. That was the key and the lock. Take card 37, which is a new puzzle card. And then it's reminding us we can check it. I hope that after the tutorial, they stop repeating that text. All right, so what have we got here? A little note card. And it is the piece, it is part of the puzzle for the map. Legends say that everyone who was born on a day when the worm vines came must be sacrificed, but of course only if we don't need them. 1,009 people in town. People to sacrifice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then Gilbert and Sevilla are the last two. And this is going to combine with this. So for somehow this has to give us the answer to this. Well, we know it's a 4-digit code. You could imagine it was 1009, but why would that be? And what is this 1, 2, 3? Is that corresponding to these people? 1, 2, 3? And this grid sort of overlays with this grid. I mean, 1009. 1009. Let's see what the chat is thinking. It seems to be same grid as the map, overlap them. 110, well spotted, Nantina. 2, 1. Are we counting number of line segments between the numbers for the map? Yeah, what are you guys doing? It is interesting that this 1 looks like it would go where this is. Would this be a 10? And then would we look at where this 2 is? Where would the 2 be then? The 2 is 4 over from the edge. There's a 1. I see what it's going to be. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 2 is the 2 maps to this word here, 1. All right, let's write it down. So the 1 maps to this grid cell that says 10. So we've got 10, then 1, the word 1. And now where is the 3 go? Does it help if we just overlay this? Not really. So let's just see if we do it. It doesn't overlay, it's a different size. Okay, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's this row, it's the third row. And then how many over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 over, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's just the number 3, I guess. That's how I get it. So if that's right, it's, if I haven't messed up, it's 1013. 1013. Guess we could make sure I've done that right. But basically, we're saying the 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in from the left, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 down, and 12 and 6. And if we do that here, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is this row here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the digit 3. 1, 0, 1, 3. Okay. I know we normally should wait until we finish these games, but it's so interesting to compare Escape from the Asylum versus this, because it feels like they're almost mirror images, but one is working and one isn't. This is clever, and it makes sense. 1, 0, 1, 3. Let's try it. So it's this puzzle. So let's do that puzzle. And 1, 0, 1, 3. Check. It clicked. Read P011. Okay. So we're getting access to the map, which is very exciting. P011. You open the lock to reach the strange key in the map. The key doesn't look like it would fit a regular lock. Discard cards 37 and 179. That's our 2 map cards. Take card 106 and the map from the game box. Okay. So it's instructed us to take this card. There we got the key that we know opens the safe. And it's now told us to get out this. Now, that's pretty exciting. Look at that. Spoiler alert, do not open until the map is given to you in the storybook, which it just was. All right, here we go. Look at that. So it's a full map on a grid. So you could decide where to go by giving it a grid coordinate location. Look at that. So we've got some structures over here. We've got a volcano up here. We've got, what is this? A banner of some sort in the ground. Some water. We've got a big stream. We've got a town of some sort near mountains, a little house structure, and another banner. The red banner people are there. Here it looks like is the domain of the blue bannered people. Right here. The blue bannered people are here. Trees, structure. Then it looks like the red house here, the red bannered people. Another structure and a very weird little crooked tree. And then this looks like it might be the town proper. With like maybe like a graveyard here, a well, fortress around the town perhaps, and a bridge over to the south. Oops, sorry. Bridge to the south where the red banner people have an outpost. Here's a little compass rose north that way. Pretty damn cool. Pretty cool. Nothing like this in the previous game. All right, so we now have access to this map. Let's just put it off to the side for a moment and focus on getting into that. So we have no more action tokens. 2 places we didn't go. Up here and up here. But now we have the key that should let us go into this secret compartment. So let's do it. Let's combine these. Let's look at what this is for a minute, though. It's a face. It's like a kid's face on this key. Is that also a kid's face on this one? A little hard to tell. Creepy, though. All right, let's combine these cards. So it's 003 and 106. Here we go. Read paragraph 16. After putting the key into the keyhole, you're able to unlock the mechanism. When you do, the steel bars which previously blocked your path move out of the way. You're now free to go. You make sure to take the map with you before running out. Now, what has happened upstairs in the meantime? Discard cards 3 and 106. Those are the keys that we used. If your current sanity is 6 or more, read paragraph 17. Otherwise, read paragraph 3. So that's fascinating. Let's take a look. So Gilbert started out with sanity 6. So if we had lost any sanity, we would not be reading paragraph 17. We'd be reading paragraph 3. So it sounds like we're reading the better paragraph, but we don't have a ring. That is not... I don't love that idea that we don't have that ring. I thought we were going to get a chance to get that ring. Okay, but at least we would have lost our sanity. If we'd reached for that ring and gotten stuck by that thing, we would have lost some sanity. All right, so now we're going to follow this instruction. We get to read paragraph 7. I'm going to make a note here. Don't look at that. Don't try to cheat. I'm going to make a note so that we might want to check, if we want to keep track of things to check on. Choose ring card. Paragraph 17 with less sanity. Okay, so we're going to keep a list of things to check after we finish the game. All right. So we get to read paragraph 17. Gilbert does, I should say. All right, Gilbert, let's see what's going to happen here. You rush up to see Sevilla, who's shaking and crying near the door. I was sure I lost you, but here you are, she says with a soft voice. Tell me what you've found. Without hesitation, you explain everything as quickly as possible. As you get to the part about the worm children, you feel tears pooling in your eyes. You know they're about to sacrifice you to the woods, but you won't let them. If you have to go, you'll go on your own terms. You say goodbye to Sevilla and promise that you'll find out what's really going on and come back for her. She tries to stop you, but seeing the resolve in your eyes, she lets you go. As you rush across an old bridge, your journey begins. Okay, well, the question in the channel was, where are we? I think we may know now. I think we were in this town, and I believe we've just rushed across that bridge. Doesn't that make sense? There's no other bridge on this map. This does look like the main town. So I think that's it. I mean, I guess there could be another bridge here, but that's probably the bridge. Okay. I don't know why we haven't taken Sevilla with us. She's due to be sacrificed downstairs where she lives. It seems like we should have taken her with us. Congratulations, you've finished the tutorial. Keep in mind that using too much time can negatively impact the story and can hinder your progress in many different ways, often not being as obvious as this time. Now you're ready for the real adventure. Buckle up, as it's going to be a rough, grim, and unforgiving one. So we've just played the epilogue, the prologue. Took us 3 hours to play the prologue. It took its time. The puzzles were not trivial. They were interesting. We don't have any items we're carrying with us, but we already made a choice that is nagging away at me to not take that ring. Like, I'm a little worried it's going to come back to bite us. And let's just read. Let's remember what it said there. It said, it tried to remind us about time. Let's just read this again, because this is clearly going to be important for us to keep in mind. It says, keep in mind, using too much time can negatively impact the story and can hinder your progress in many different ways, often not being as obvious as this time. It almost sounds like it's saying, look, you're going to have to leave places without exploring all the things you want, because if you take your time to go look at everything, that's worse than being comprehensive. Rough, grim, and unforgiving. What are we going to propose? I wonder. Is it Gollum's ring? All right, and we're going to come back for Sevilla. So I'm going to put on my things to check the R0 card. So as a reminder, there's a deck of cards for if you focus and a deck of cards if you rest. We did not rest. This is the R0 card for the prologue. So this will never be seen or used by us. This leaves the game now. This was only for the prologue if we had chosen to rest. We could have looked in those 2 extra places. We could have rested more and looked in those places. We should remember that we just ended the prologue without being given a choice based on opening that last puzzle. So if we were dead set on looking at something, like if we were planning to pick up the tools before we left, we have to be careful about solving the final puzzle because it immediately exits you. And we didn't end the game with more actions. If we had ended with spare action tokens, we could have carried those over into chapter 1. So we're starting chapter 1 sort of behind the 8 ball. All right, let's take a quick look at paragraph 100 that would start. Let me take a quick look at paragraph 100 that would start our new game. All right. So it just tells us how to start the next game and do a little bit of cleanup. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop here. We're going to stop here. We could certainly, we have played many times, many evenings for 7-hour sessions. We could easily play another 3 or 4 hours here on Thursday night and get into, but probably we wouldn't finish chapter 1. And I think with this new system, with this new stuff to chew on, this is a good place to stop. This is a thematic game. I like the idea of starting our adventures properly. So we're going to end here, but I would like to, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this because obviously we have a lot more to do, but I am curious to hear your thoughts on it. You can probably tell from me, from my reaction, that I really like this, that this is sort of hits the right notes for me, and it does feel weird that it's sort of mechanically, you can see how Escape from the Asylum fits in the same family as this. But this to me feels like it's got the balance right. The puzzles are serious, they're real, but we have yet to flail around on one. The art is beautiful. I love looking for clues in the art and having this spatial feel. Now we've got this big map. And most importantly, though, I think the narrative story is compelling, that you want to get that key. You want to open that case up to see what you'll see. And each one gets you a little further. We got a key into the safe and then needed a second compartment. And then we hit a choice that was not so, a little bit of logic, but an agonizing choice, which has a ramification that we don't really understand yet. So I'm very much enjoying this, looking forward to playing more. Any thoughts from the channel before we end this here? And I like the tension from not wanting to use up your actions. I mean, that creates some real tension for me, an agonizing choice about where to go. Jonathan says, my only nitpick was the way those cards depicting the room were a little annoying to look at the way the game seemed to intend. I think it would have worked better as a 2x6 grid instead of a 3x4. I think you have a good point. I think maybe what we'll do is I'll make a different little chart for this so that we can always do it this way. So we can always lay it up this way if we want and know that this is whatever, A1, A2, A3, whatever, so that we don't have to sort of map it. Just a little chart that we can rotate to keep track. Jonathan says the story is compelling. And Tina says, when is the next stream? Well, we could continue tomorrow. We could play another stream of this tomorrow. What does the channel want? For the people who are enjoying this, do you want to continue it? Can you continue it tomorrow? I think I could continue it tomorrow and Saturday. Could also play it one of the weekend afternoons if we wanted. Jonathan says, I think you had a good point about the answers being clearer than the asylum. Yeah, like when we solve it, we know we've solved it. And I think the freedom to use an app to take answers in different forms for different puzzles. The fact that the Escape from the Asylum had to do it all with a everything with a 4-digit code was straitjacketing themselves in a way that that caused problems. And Tina says, poor Asylum, it wasn't that bad. Well, it had its nice moments, it had its pros and cons, but this is closer to home for me. Okay, so we're going to meet again tomorrow night and play chapter 1, or see how far we can get in chapter 1. I'll have to change the title on this one to say it's the prologue. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your help. And I'll see you tomorrow as we leave the village across the bridge. And unfortunately, the game has warned us we're in for a grim adventure. And we don't have that ring to make us invisible. I'm a little nervous about that. I'll see you tomorrow.